And I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food.
Price gauging? First ban on price gauging? How do you gauge prices? I don't know, but you're not going to be able to do it anymore. She's going to ban price gauging. Little tiny brain. The Democrats, they want her to be President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. Armed Forces. She owns a gun, though. She owns a gun. She said in the debate, too, that she owns a gun and that Tim Walz owns a gun, the one that he went into combat with, his weapon of war. And my friend Danny said, yes, she owns a gun. Kamala, she owns a gun, Danny says, and Hillary has hot sauce with her at all times. She's going to shoot you if you come through the door. She's like Tony Montana, living in the vice president's residence at the top of the sweeping staircase with her AR-15 with an M203 grenade launcher mounted underneath, and she's loaded for bear, ready to go. Coming to her house, which is the vice president's residence. She's going to shoot you if the Secret Service doesn't shoot you first. Yes, sir. Speaking of Democrats, and boy, there's a lot to talk about. And I do love this if somebody breaks into my house. They're getting shot. They're getting shot. And Oprah laughs, and the crowd laughs, and they clap. Oh, we're going to shoot like Ashley Babbitt. If Ashley Babbitt came into her house, she'd shoot her. Yay, shoot them and kill them. You guys should stop shooting people, all right? You're shooting way too many people. Democrats shouldn't be allowed to own guns. You're a registered Democrat. It should be illegal. It should be like being a convicted felon. Shouldn't be allowed to own a gun. Of course, most convicted felons.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, I hear that. I hear that.
Oprah hears that. She hears that. She's got armed security. She doesn't, she doesn't have to own a gun. She's got multi-billionaire. And speaking of Democrat, they have Democrats everywhere, liberals everywhere now. And this one is pretty amazing. It's a story in the New York Post. The Washington Post wouldn't cover it because they don't actually report the news. An Olympic judo star whose name is Nemanja Majdov, banned for 5 months from the sport after making the sign of the cross at the Paris Olympic Games. Sure, he's a Serbian. You shouldn't make him angry, I think. Serbian judo world champion Nemanja Majdov vowed not to apologize after he was hit with a 5-month ban for making the sign of the cross before he competed at the Paris Olympics. Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles. These are people that call themselves liberals. And they, the commies and the totalitarians, they ban religion, and that means the Democrats in the United States. If you're a high school football coach and you want to say a quick prayer, take a knee after a football game to be thankful that none of your teenagers were hurt playing football, the Democrats will take you to court and use the power of the state to try to prevent you from doing that because, they know that all power comes from the barrel of a gun, just like Chairman Mao taught them, right? Majdov was accused of violating the International Judo Federation's religious code for, quote, having shown a clear religious sign when entering the field of play, end quote. And he was barred from participating in all tournaments, camps, and preparations. He can't participate in preparations. How about that? I know, write your own Preparation H joke there. Footage captured Majdov touching his forehead, stomach, and both shoulders. They have to explain what signing the cross is. What spectacles, testicles, what? Yeah, wallet and watch. Spectacles, testicles, wallet and watch. That's a sign. Maybe they should write that there. So you're not allowed to do that. Footage captured him touching his forehead, stomach, and both shoulders as part of the Christian gesture ahead of his bout against the guy from Greece, Theodoros Tsalidis. And you're not allowed to do that. That happened on July 31st, and 15 days ago I received a decision that I was suspended for 5 months by the World Judo Federation for violating their religious codes, Majdov said on Instagram, more precisely because of making the sign of the cross when I entered the match at the Olympic Games. Kind of an amazing thing. You know, they're commies. Commies are anti-religious, and the Democrats are anti-religious because they're very, very close to being commies. I'm holding my left index finger 1 inch over my left thumb. Very close. They're this close to being commies in all kinds of ways. They're going to take away your guns and your right to free speech. And Hillary Clinton said that people should face civil action and even criminal action, you know, being put in prison, committing crimes for what you've said. They don't support your right to free speech. They don't support your right to practice your religion, you know, kind of the foundational principles of the creation of the United States of America and of Western civilization. But pay no attention to that. Yes, the International Judo Body forbids athletes from displaying religious signs near the field of play. Zero tolerance for any form of discrimination. How is that discrimination? You're discriminating, and that's the old Russian playbook. They accuse you of doing whatever you're doing. It's discriminatory for you to sign the cross, but not discriminatory for them to suspend you for 5 months for signing the cross. Their brains are not good brains. It might be cell phones. Cell phones could be causing brain damage everywhere we go. Isn't that amazing? Zero tolerance for any form of discrimination or provocation that may impact our athletes' performance. Yeah, sure. That's the thing. That's pretty amazing stuff. Civilization is under assault. And it's the left everywhere you look, of course. Amazing stuff. Yes, sir. All right, let's get back to tell us now. There was Kamala with Orca, and an audience member actually was remote, I think, by Zoom call. And it was a couple, a pleasant-looking couple, but they're Democrat idiots because they participated in this. And probably end up being killed by illegal alien gang members and having their homes taken over by illegal alien gang member squatters. But then they'll be happy. Are you happy now? So let's go. The audience members ask for a plan. You keep saying you're going to lower the cost of living and you're going to fight, what's she going to fight? Price gauging. She's going to fight price gauging. And then $25,000 for first-time homebuyers of other people's money, which they're going to take, at the barrel of a gun because you know how they feel. There was an Obama administration official that explained the worldview of the Democrats.
We kind of agree with Mao that political power comes largely from the barrel of a gun.
See? And now Kamala's got a gun, and if you go into her house, she's going to shoot you. She's going to shoot you just like Tony Montana might shoot you. It was Manolo that shot Frank Lopez at Lopez Motors, right? No, I'm not going to shoot you. I'm not going to shoot you, Frank. Manolo? Shoot that. Sorry, a little Tony Montana flashback. So this nice couple on the Zoom call, they pop up and they say, hey, you keep talking about how you're going to lower the price of living. Exactly how are you going to do that?
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
First of all, thank you both for being here. And
first of all,
yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel.
It's not a story.
And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams. And ambitions for your family. And working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been.
The question was, I think they were gone. They're off the screen because Orca called in an airstrike on them. She has her own Air Force now. And I wonder how many jets she's owned over time. I wonder what her carbon footprint is. But the I'm sorry, what? The question was, how are you going to lower? Because you keep talking about this, and they asked specifically a more salient and pertinent question than any fake journalist has asked her in her entire lifetime. Maybe there's a lot of sexual relationship going on, like New York Magazine and Nutzi and RFK Jr., but really they're just talking. They're just talking, and she was suspended for talking to a newsmaker. That's kind of weird, isn't it? So ask the pertinent question. You keep talking about this, but how are you going to lower? Well, you're right. Your story is so common. And the neighbors growing up took care of their lawns. And what are you babbling incoherently about? And the news media just nods, and Orca sits there and nods. Kamala has done one local news interview where she got the fluff job, ABC station in Philadelphia, the local station. She's done one national print publication interview and one national TV interview. That's it, all right? Now, J.D. Vance, who is Donald Trump's running mate, has done 15 local TV interviews, 24 national TV interviews. Kamala's done one. And he's done 8 national print publications. Kamala's done one. Tim Walz has done 0 national print publications, 1 national TV interview, and 3 local TV interviews. And that's when they decided they should stop that. Commies. Now, they had, meth guy, Bryan Cranston. My best girl loves that meth TV show, that, Breaking Bad. And Bryan Cranston was a meth maker on that TV show. It's a very popular TV show. So he checked in with Kamala.
I'm just smiling from ear to ear, Oprah. I have never felt this much joy and optimism in a campaign in a long time.
Really? Because Joe Biden didn't bring this kind of joy and sexual pleasure to you, Bryan Cranston? I felt sad when Chris Rock came out and said this stupid stuff. I wanted to walk up and slap him.
I've always been a fan of Kamala, even back when she was running for. I remember writing her a check when she was like the district attorney for something. Maybe
no, you don't.
Get out of a parking ticket or something.
Yeah, she'd put you in jail for being black and smoking pot, but never mind that. You wrote her a check. He can't remember. He doesn't know. I always like Chris Rock. He's fun and a nice guy, but I did want to slap him there. I just wanted to walk up on stage and slap him. Ben Stiller, what was he ever in anyway? Nobody even remembers. His parents were famous before he was born.
Going from a stop Trump mode into a go Kamala mode.
Yeah, I take a look out your window. There's a Venezuelan gang about to steal everything you have. So they got lots of that going. Aren't they crazy? Yes, it does. Just nuts. These people. Can I say these people? I prefer those people. And you people. You people. Hey, Ryan Lizza, your wife, Olivia Nuzzi, you know what she's doing? Come on. You know it. I know it. The American people know it. They didn't suspend her for talking to him. Come on. Don't be ridiculous. And who's RFK married to again? That actress. Cheryl? I think it's Cheryl Hines. She was on Curb Your Enthusiasm. She was Larry David's wife on Curb Your Enthusiasm. She's perfectly funny. Now she's married to RFK Jr. She had to kind of wade her way through RFK Jr. supporting Trump. But now RFK's having an emotional affair with a left-wing radical extremist reporter, Olivia Nuzzi. Nutsy. That's going to be bad. The dinner tables in both of those houses, not going to be. I think they're not going out to restaurants either. Hey, honey, let's go out and get a nice Italian meal. You mean a Nutzi meal? What, you want to eat some Nutzi meal? What is the, come on, get out of here. They're going to have fun. She can't be trusted. She can't be trusted by her husband, Ryan Lizza, formerly of the Washington Post, now of Politico. Can't be trusted by her readers. Come on. And I've been telling you forever, these the news media and the Democrats, they're in bed together. And here it is. They climb mountains together. You know, football season is here, you may have noticed, and a big game last night. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action while you're watching football. The app is incredibly easy to use. You pick 2 or more players across any sport, and you pick more or less on their projections, and you can win up to 100 times your money. And all withdrawals are fast and safe and secure and easy. Not only that, but Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy app where, listen, the app has injury insurance. If one of your players goes down in the first half of play, Prize Picks does not count it against you as a loss. How about that? You get to download the Prize Picks app today and use the code PLANT, P-L-A-N-T-E. Don't forget that E, and you're going to get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. That code is PLANT and Prize Picks, and you get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. To play, visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. Yeah. I got to tell you, that's not good, these affairs thing. 50% of divorces are as a result of affairs like this one. But it's just emotional. It's not even, wasn't even there, didn't even touch him. Hey, Ryan Lizza, bring home a black light today. Bring home a black, run it over your wife. Oh, I have to make a correction here. Turns out Ryan Lizza of Politico and formerly of the Washington Post and Olivia Nuzzi, they're engaged. I think the engagement dinner. I know I saw something saying that it's his spouse. And in fact, I went and looked it up again. The Wikipedia page says that Olivia Nuzzi is his spouse, but then in parentheses it says engaged. Yeah, she's engaged with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. too, apparently, but that's another discussion for another day. Isn't that amazing? I have crazy Democrats on Capitol Hill yesterday being asked by a Fox News reporter if the Democrats should dial down their incendiary, murderous rhetoric that has already brought 2 would-be assassins out of the woodwork. And, the Democrats have another one arrested yesterday threatening to murder 2/3 of the Supreme Court. How much bloodshed does there have to be? How many arrests do there have to be? There was another would-be Supreme Court assassin arrested outside Brett Kavanaugh's house with a gun, and that's all okay with them. So many wild things going on. There is a fun tweet out about a document that was acquired by the intelligence agency in Saudi Arabia having to do with what's going on in Lebanon. And the updates are quite fascinating, actually. I want to share this with you real quick. The front page of the Washington Post is a joke, of course, and they've got a big front page photograph above the fold, a huge one, of a mob in Lebanon, in Beirut, swarming a casket which is draped in the flag of Hezbollah. Now, it should be noted that the flag-draped coffin, the Hezbollah flag, has the arm and fist of a Hezbollah fighter clutching an AK-47. That's their flag. It tells you who they are. And there's a wreath on top of it, too. It may blow up, and it's a mob of people. And the headline, it's mourners at a funeral Thursday in Beirut carry a coffin of a person killed by an exploding electronic device. Based on death notices, the Washington Post says, most of the 37 people killed in this week's blasts are believed to have been Hezbollah fighters, but 2 children also died. More than that were killed in Chicago in the same period of time, and probably Washington, D.C. also. And don't forget to send a check to Planned Parenthood, because the people at the Washington Post do. But they care, a single death is a tragedy. 1 million deaths are a statistic. And the headline, that's the caption on the photo, but the headline on the front page with the flag-draped coffin with the AK-47 on it, the headline is, Escalating Attacks Reveal Washington's Weakening Handle on Crisis. I don't know how it could get any weaker. They haven't done a damn thing. It was October 7th of last year that all this started. And this administration in the United States of America has been completely useless, completely pointless. But let me get to this document from it's Dr. Eli David posting on X. And he has an intelligence document from Saudi Arabia. And they've got the Hamas flag with the AK-47 being clutched because they love the AK-47, a Russian assault rifle. And Dr. Eli David notes, according to a leaked document from Hezbollah intelligence, 879 died in pager explosions. But wait, the Washington Post on the front page just said the number 37. But they don't report the news. They cover up the news. So according to this document, Saudi intelligence reporting a Hezbollah document showing 879 died from pager explosions, out of which 291 were senior commanders, 509 were blinded, 1,735 were, quote, injured in their reproductive organs, end quote, because they had their pagers in their front pockets and then it blew up. And, then you get a quick sex change thing going on there. And out of which, about 1,735 injured their reproductive organs, out of which 906 had, quote, total damage, and 613 permanent function damage. You should never pick a fight with a group of people who have the largest concentration of Nobel laureates in the world because, you're a troglodyte. They're going to outsmart you at every turn. You're going to lose. You're a big loser. But those numbers are quite fascinating. Now, let's go to the telephones. Let's go to Layla and Jason. Layla and Jason calling from Front Royal, Virginia. Layla and Jason, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, Chris, thanks a lot for taking our call. We're a first-time caller.
Welcome. Happy to hear your voice. Uh-oh, did your phone just drop out?
I hope not.
Oh, there you are. Now you're back.
Can you hear me now?
Now you're back.
Okay, so I'll just let you know what happened this morning. We went to vote in person out here in Front Royal. We walked up to the voter folks. We showed our IDs. And the first thing they said was, you're listed as having an absentee ballot. And I said, yeah, that's the reason why I'm here. I haven't received it yet. And she said, well, it's funny. We haven't sent them out yet.
And early voting starts today. Early voting starts today in Virginia.
Exactly. So we had to fill out not one, not two, but 3 different pieces of paper to be able to vote in person today because we are listed as having an absentee ballot that they haven't sent out yet.
Ah, I see. All right. Now you requested.
That made me say these people.
These people. Now, you did request absentee ballots because you're traveling a lot or something, right?
Exactly, for work, being one of those DoD contractors. We run where they say to run, so.
And you might be overseas, you might be out of the country.
Right, and that's the way we planned it, but since early voting started today and I haven't seen anything in the mail, I went to them and I said to my wife, let's go do this in person. And they said to us, we haven't shipped out the absentee ballots yet. And I guffawed a little bit and then said, these people.
Man, oh, Manischewitz, I am telling you. They just make it better and better, don't they? They're improving it. And now it's more difficult and more complicated to vote than ever. God, I miss Election Day.
So do I.
Man, oh, man. And so you're DOD, both of you are DOD contractors and prior military?
Yes, sir, prior Navy.
All right. And Layla also?
Yes.
All right, so you're both prior military, and now you're DOD contractors. You may be traveling once Election Day rolls around. You requested the absentee ballots, and you haven't received them, even though early voting starts today. So you decided to go do it in person. And now, were you finally able to vote after filling out 3 forms?
Yes, absolutely. And the folks there all seemed to be a little disturbed that we were filling in the R blocks instead of the D blocks. But it was quite comical when I started to question them. Well, don't absentee ballots, aren't they supposed to go out first? And nobody had an answer for me. They just, they haven't been shipped out yet. We were late on working that. And I'm like, okay, so you say.
And your impression was that the people working the polls there in Front Royal were D blocks.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
You should have seen the looks. Because I was walking in with a Republican sheet in my hand. And they were looking at me funny.
They were looking at me funny. There's Layla. And welcome, Layla. Nice talking to you. And making voting, they're making it better. They're making it better and better. And I think we should maybe just call them all D blocks. What do you think?
I think that's a good title. That's an absolutely great title.
The D blocks. I went into the polling place in Front Royal, and it was full of D blocks. And I tried to vote, and they made it more difficult than ever. And oh boy, I tell you, the D blocks everywhere you go, threatening the Supreme Court, shooting Republican nominees, and dialing up the rhetoric nonstop. Aren't they amazing?
And how about this old lady we saw coming out of the booth and stole a Harris
Waltz
sign and was
walking away with
hobbling home with her cane and everything. She could barely walk.
Wow. An old D block thief. They're all the old D block, and she decided to steal a sign because they figure they're entitled to everything. Whatever they see is theirs, Layla.
Oh, yeah. I should have remembered that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Everything within arm's reach is yours for the taking. Yeah, they're like...
Thanks a lot, Chris. You do a great service every day we listen to you.
Well, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Layla. I am saluting you both. It's a smart, crisp salute. And thank you both. And for fighting the fight. And you had to go and you got to wrestle your vote to the ground because the Democrats are making it better. And, in Washington, D.C., you don't have to be a citizen to vote. They just ask you to not vote in the presidential election. You can vote in all the city elections. Even if you're an illegal alien, they encourage you to register to vote and to vote in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, because D blocks are running the city of Washington, too. I think we might have just coined a new phrase. The D blocks are in charge. Layla, Jason, thank you. Thank you very much for checking in. And now let's go to, because, again, the story broke yesterday while we were on the air, that the FBI had arrested a guy. They didn't shoot him, amazingly. They shoot some people on those pre-dawn raids and stuff, but they don't shoot everybody. The FBI arrested a guy in Alaska who has been threatening to murder 6 Supreme Court justices and family members because he doesn't like the Supreme Court, at least 6 members of the Supreme Court. We're left to our own devices to figure out which ones, because, you know how they are. But this is pretty amazing stuff. And that's because of the rhetoric and Chuck Schumer saying you will reap the whirlwind and all of the hatred that these people spread. But the lunatic, and he's got a nice Greek name, too, the Alaska man. And I'm kind of ashamed of him, as a non-Greek person. But an Alaska man was arrested for allegedly threatening to assassinate 6 members of the Supreme Court and harm 2 family members. I think we can guess which family members they are. The Justice Department said, Panos Anastasio. His name is Panos Anastasio. I used to know a guy in Washington named Anastasio. He went back to New York to be a lawyer. But Panos Anastasio is accused of sending more than 465 messages to the Supreme Court through an online portal. He's a D-Block online portal himself. included violent, racist, and homophobic rhetoric. According to court filings, Anastasio allegedly threatened to assassinate, kidnap, torture, hang, behead, and execute the justices. Very thorough threat, I think, and encouraged other people to join him in committing acts of violence. I think Chuck Schumer got in line there. The Justice Department said he faces 9 counts of making threats against a federal judge and 13 counts of making threats in interstate commerce. Anastasio appeared before a federal magistrate judge and has pleaded not guilty. Yeah, but here are all the things that he sent. So pretty amazing stuff. And the defendant, they say, made repeated heinous threats of murder, torture, Supreme Court justices and their families. And, of course, a couple of years ago, another guy was arrested at Brett Kavanaugh's house with a bag full of guns and ammo, burglary tools, kidnapping tools, because the Democrats inspire this in people. It's their rhetoric, don't you know? Amazing stuff. And the Supreme Court declined to comment yesterday. An attorney for Anastasio was not listed in court records, but he'll get a Democrat. He'll get a D-block guy soon enough. Just amazing stuff. All right, now let's go to the Democrats yesterday on Capitol Hill because a Fox News lady reporter asked Democrats, hey, what do you think about dialing down all this rhetoric about Trump being a threat to our democracy? And, Hank Johnson from Georgia, a Democrat, who thinks that islands flip over if you put too many Marines on one side. Islands in the Pacific Ocean, he thinks they'll flip over. Not a bright guy, and he imagined a world without balloons, and he almost cried. And he's going to be reelected this year again, too. Hank Johnson was asked.
I wanted to know if you think it's time for Democrats to stop calling Trump a threat to democracy.
No. Fact of the matter is that he is a threat to democracy.
All right. Well, thanks for clarifying your position. Went to, you want to go to 16 or no? Okay. Ro Khanna, Democrat, was asked also.
I wanted to know if you think it's time for Democrats to tone down the rhetoric.
Well, I think it's important for all of us to tone down the rhetoric. Let's make this an election about policy. Yeah, Hitler. But we want to give him credit because he said the right thing. Just one Democrat. Pramila Jayapal is a communist racist who hates America.
Do you think it's time for Democrats to stop calling Trump a threat to democracy?
No, I think we should be clear that he is a threat to democracy.
Do you think that the rhetoric, though, needs to be toned down?
I think his rhetoric should be toned down, absolutely.
Yeah, Trump's rhetoric should be toned down because he's been shot through the ear and another guy in the bushes and all the Democrat rhetoric. And Joe Biden talked about putting him in the crosshairs, and now he's been in the crosshairs twice. Jasmine Crockett, another left-wing extremist Democrat member of the House of Representatives.
Do you think it's time for Democrats to stop calling Trump a threat to democracy?
Listen, these are the facts. He is a threat, period, point blank.
Yeah, he is a threat, period, point blank. Matt Gaetz was doing a podcast, Congressman Matt Gaetz from Florida, who's a lot of fun, and he's had enough of a lot of this stuff. He was asked about reports that, there are more people coming across our southern border that want to kill Trump.
We are aware of at least 5 teams in country that are geared toward killing Trump. And I think, 3 of them that we know are foreign in nature. 2 of them we know are domestic in nature. And that calls for a force protection that we do not have around the former president right now.
3 foreign teams and 2 domestic teams. They're, D-block teams, and 5 teams in the United States, 3 foreign teams and 2 domestic teams that are targeting President Trump. I think maybe we do need to dial up the Secret Service protection. The Democrat Party, I think they're getting ready to show up in gray uniforms again. The last time they all showed up in gray uniforms, it didn't go very well. They eventually lost. The Republicans defeated them. But you may recall they shot the Republican president that pulled that one off. He happened to be the first Republican president ever. And after all, he had taken away the Democrat slaves. That really angered them.
You called your opponent an existential threat on a call a week ago. You said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. There's some dispute about the context, but I think you appreciate that.
I didn't say crosshairs. That's what we focus on.
Now, Vivek Ramaswamy, a smart guy, one-time presidential candidate, held a town hall, which no news organizations have done, in Springfield, Ohio, where the city of 58,000 American residents had 20,000 or so Haitian illegal aliens that the Biden people said are now legal, had them dropped in their front lap and their front door and their lap. But the town hall meeting last night, the residents are not amused.
There simply are too many mass migrants here in this town, and they're too richly subsidized. It's pushing people out of their homes. It's pushing people out of jobs.
Other than that, there's no disruption at all. And hey, but what kind of response have you been getting from the media and the D blocks?
We have been put down and called racist, not only in print, but also to our faces at city commission meetings. And now we are at a level of desperation.
And what about the political leadership from the White House on down?
Be a resident of Springfield, Clark County for 61 years. If our city council and everybody wants to be a part of the solution, I'm just sitting right there by the door. I haven't seen a single one of them.
No city council members showed up, no members of Congress, no state reps, nothing. And this lady has a story to tell.
She was chased by a man with a machete.
Her daughter.
On her way to work. Called the police. She told them what had happened and wanted to file a report. 2 hours later, the police still had not called her back and never checked on the crime. So that's how you know there's no crime in Springfield, because no one's reporting it.
And the police aren't recording it, and then it's not reported up to the FBI, and then Biden's Justice Department and FBI and Bureau of Justice Statistics tell you that the crime rate is going down, at least the number of crimes being reported and recorded going down. The lady's daughter was chased down the street by a man with a machete. Probably not, a red-haired Opie Taylor-looking guy. He was just looking for her cat.